TMT fam. So we told y'all in our intro video that we will be doing a little more controversial talks. I don't think this is really controversy, but if other people disagree with how you feel, we'll call it controversy. So we're gonna start this. Don't forget to subscribe to Clout God West. Link will be in the description. And without further ado, let's get started. So question number one. Well, do you want to give background to what you do for Black Lives Matter?
I mean, just locally, we protest. We used to protest every day for 64 straight days. It started out as just trying to fight for equality for Black people and people of color in general. And then as we kept continuing to march, we realized that there's a lot of things that need to be changed, not even just nationally, but like right here in Fredericksburg and that area. So just trying to get things fixed in the city, because everything starts at your house. And I mean, this is where we live, so like just trying to make a better living environment for people that look like me.
Exactly. So with that, we'll start with the first question. What does Black Lives Matter mean to you?
Black Lives Matter simply means that Black lives are equal. And I mean, no matter how you look at it, no matter what aspect, whether it be trying to get a job, the fact that Black people are killed at 2.8 times per capita, meaning that if there's 1,000 Black people and 1,000 white people, the Black person is more likely to get killed by 2.8 times, almost 3 times as many by police officers. Education, you don't learn about Black history in school. It's just that simple. You learn about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, and that's it. If you go to a white school, that's it, and that's pretty much all of them. So just like the system as a whole does not treat Black people and people of color as equal. So the Black Lives Matter movement is not to elevate Black people above other people, but it's to uplift them to have level playing field.
Follow-up question. So do you think so when people hear Black Lives Matter, they think of elevating over?
Yeah.
So would it be easier to say Black Lives Matter too?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, the fact that it offends you, or not you, but offends people when I say Black Lives Matter, that just is part of the problem. And you can say too, you cannot say Black Lives Matter too, but at the end of the day, it's very clear that the way the country is set up, we're not treated the same. I mean, there's really no other way you can look at it. No matter for whatever reason you argue, that's the fact that we aren't. And there's so many numbers I could pull up and show, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. So like, you can say that, and it might help some people sleep better at night as far as their understanding of it, but I really don't think you should have to.
Right. So, question number 2 is, why is Black Lives Matter such a powerful movement? Why is it like just taking off?
I think it's a couple things. The tragic events that happened to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. I could go on. There's so many, but I just think that those two events stacked on top of the fact that we're in a global pandemic, everyone was just kind of tired of it. And I mean, I just feel like that was the tipping point, and that's really just got the ball rolling. And it shouldn't have taken that, but it happened, and I'm glad that instead of shying away from it, we as a country have tried to address the issues.
You have anything to add to you?
Not right now, I'm trying to think.
Right, okay, get your thoughts together. So, what are some misconceptions of the Black Lives Matter movement?
Like I was saying earlier, that the movement is to elevate Black people up to equality, not above people. And that's something that people think, when I say Black Lives Matter, the people that respond with All Lives Matter, they think that we're trying to make black people better, and that's just not the case.
Right.
And then the other thing is that the movement as a whole is violent, which is not true. I mean, yeah, you've seen the violence across the country, but as a whole and as a general movement, and especially here in Fredericksburg, we are non-violent. So it's just like, and then the other thing about that is when you see things like that and people are putting out, these people are violent, these people are doing this, that, and the other, and it's not happening, it puts us at risk every single day, because it's like, there are people out there that genuinely think we're there to hurt them, and they use that fear to justify doing some of the things that have happened to me personally and some of the other people I protest with, like receiving threats and things of that nature. I don't want to get too much into that because I'm trying to keep this positive.
Right.
But like, those things can happen because of the misconceptions. And it sucks, but it's what we have to deal with. So.
Right. And I think, just to go into that, I mean, TJ and I have been to a couple protests, and seeing the way that the city of Fredericksburg and the neighbors kind of just rallied behind us, it was really inspiring, because you see a lot of things on the news, like especially in LA and recently in Portland, that they don't call it protests, they call it riots, which is completely wrong.
It literally, it's a protest, but I know from other people's words, when they see things online, obviously they're gonna believe that before they even approach us and ask us any questions. So they go off the stance of, oh yeah, they're here to riot, when they start rioting when people start shooting gun pellets, people with no guns, pepper spraying little kids for what reason we do not know. Like, they just want to at that point. And then when they put a curfew out, obviously if they're there to protest, they're not gonna want to leave. So they're gonna force them. Like my friend who was up in DC, she went to protest. They had her there from 12 till 4, and they had them boxed in on the street and wouldn't let them leave. And they're taking like all older like black dudes. So it's just like, what is the whole point of that? If you want them to leave, let them leave.
Right. Don't make them stay.
Yeah.
100%. Question number 4 is how does it feel to be put into a leadership role in the Fredericksburg protest? I know you've been in a couple higher up roles. How does that affect you positively and negatively?
I mean, I see it as, first of all, it's very important, and I'm blessed that I'm even in a position to be able to do this, because as much as I like enjoy it and I like know and I'm very passionate about what I do, it gets tiring. And I mean, I'm tired every day, but it's like I don't care. The people I work with, they're some of the best people I've ever met, extremely talented, extremely smart. And so just having them with me, it's just continued motivation, and just knowing that I can do something about the things that happen right here means the world to me. And I mean, it's long, it's not easy, but it's important. So I'm just glad that I have the opportunity to work with some of the most amazing people in the world to get the stuff done that we're trying to get done.
So, I'm not sure if you've been to any of like the major protests such as DC. But the question I have is, how do the local protests compare to the ones that maybe get more attention, such as the DC ones?
Well, the things that are very similar is, of course, obviously, they're all fighting for the same thing. And I mean, as much as the media tries to portray the protest as a whole as a violent movement, across the board, for the most part, it doesn't become violent until police officers or things of that nature start to act out. Like, when we got tear gassed on the bridge on June 1st, Stafford police was here and Fredericksburg was here, and people had nowhere to go. And on that day, there were 2 instances of violence that were handled very quickly by the people, because, like I said earlier, that's not something that we support, and that was before even we were a group, before we even really got the ball rolling. That was when we first started. We already knew as a collective that that's something we didn't want to stand for. So, I mean, I just think the misconceptions in the media across the board, local media, the bigger ones in DC, Portland, Richmond, LA, it's just the fact that the violence that's taking place and the abuse of power by police officers are just very constant themes across the board, and it just seems like it's insane, really, to know that the things that happen in the big cities are happening in Fredericksburg. Yo, did you know Fredericksburg is the second smallest city to get tear gas in the entire country, and the only reason that the first one, the city that's smaller than us, got tear gas is because there was a riot?
Really?
Yeah, Fredericksburg is the second smallest, and on May 31st, we got tear gas with no violent incidents.
So how many people were at the bridge when you guys
I'd say
A lot.
400. Women, children, kids younger than us. We're 18, 19. Kids 15, 14. Babies in strollers, moms pushing them off the bridge. Those are things that you see and like you can never, those memories do not shake you. And the fact that you can disagree with the protest and you can try and get us to stop, but the way that it was handled for people that didn't destroy anything as a collective, didn't break anything, we were just walking in the street causing some traffic. That the fact that that warranted tear gas is insane. But on the positive end of that, the fact that they still kept marching after that, after the arrest, after everything, people could still continue to march even now is insane. So I mean, there's beauty in the struggle.
Always. So we touched on All Lives Matter a little bit, but I asked you, what does Black Lives Matter mean to you? What is when you hear All Lives Matter, what is that? How do you take that? How do you perceive it?
I mean, the All Lives Matter thing, it just seems like the easy counter for people that don't feel like they want to support Black Lives Matter. And I mean, the way I see it, it's like they don't, for the most part, I'm not saying all, but for the most part, it's like they don't want to see anything change. They think that the things that the way they are right now are okay, and that's just not the case. And I mean, it's just like, I don't know, it's weird to see that some people within the group of people that believe all lives, like the All Lives Matter movement thing, just have so much hate in their heart. It's insane to see, like, some of the people I've had conversations with, like genuine conversations, just the things that they say or the things that I've heard from people that think like that, it's super disheartening. But yeah, that's
What about how do y'all feel about the All Lives Matter?
I mean, obviously, as a whole group or of anything, everybody will support that, but sometimes I feel like not everybody, but most people might use it as like arrogance. Like if we're doing a march or something, if you pull up and say all lives matter, you're saying that you're trying to start something, or you're obviously we can hear that and we can see that, but obviously we have other companions that are like white, black, Spanish, Asian, like of other descents that are with us marching. So just because you say all lives matter while we're doing something, that, yeah, we know that, but you're just doing that to like start an issue at that point.
So do you disagree with the statement that all lives matter, or do you disagree with the way that it's used against Black Lives Matter?
I don't think I can disagree with this statement, but the thing about it is that to the country as a whole, white people are treated like they matter.
Right.
So I feel like I shouldn't have to give them a personal shout out to just so they feel included on Black Lives Matter by saying all lives matter. But the statement itself, all lives matter, is very important because they all do. But the problem with that is, at the moment, Black lives don't to the country. So Yeah.
And I mean, when you think about the phrase, when it was really started as a protest
That's what I'm
to Black Lives Matter, which is why it gets the negative conceptions it does. You know, so.
And I think it also has to do with like the people that
That
they
yeah.
support it.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel you. So this is a little bit of a different question, but being a Black athlete at a predominantly white institution, do you feel like your voice is heard? And let's just, since we're on this topic, and matters to this, do you feel like you are being represented in the way that you should be?
I mean, at my school, yeah, I do. And I mean, I'm really grateful for that. I mean, I thought about going to an HBCU just so I could ensure it, but track is something I really wanted to do, and this school gave me the best opportunity to do that. But as far as feeling included and feeling like my opinion matters, definitely, especially since when we go back, I'll be the sophomore class president. So that's just trying to figure out as many ways to get my hands in as many different areas to just be more of an impact wherever I am. So.
Right. Okay. So, feel free to answer this question. If you don't want to, you can say you don't want to. This is our last question. Is what are some experiences you went through at some of the protests? You could pick one, or just kind of fire them out.
I mean, I could talk for hours about like all the bad things I've like seen and like been through. The tear gas, the rubber bullet in my thigh, the threats, the almost getting hit by cars. But to me, I don't even focus on it anymore. What the moments that stand out in my brain to push out like the traumatic experiences is the simple stuff, the honking your horn when you pass, throwing up the fist, seeing people with paint on their cars, people supporting. Because especially now, because of the pandemic and things of that nature, and because it's so hot every day, it's not easy to protest. It's not. And so just knowing that this many people care about what I care about and believe what I believe, I think those type of interactions, those experiences, getting really close with the family I've grown to love because of protesting, because when you're out there every day, you can't help but get to know the people, and when you're trying to work with them. So I mean, just growing closer to them and just becoming growing a lot as a person. Yeah, it's been a really good summer of doing this. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right.
Can I add to that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, I know Malcolm and I went to the one protest probably like a month ago, I think. Or something close like that. And we had the issue, we were there, where they were like, oh, 2 white men in a red car had guns, all this stuff. They were ready to shoot. But I feel like at first when they told me that, I was like, dang, now I have to keep them close. Because like if anything happens, then I might be devastated. But then after a while, when we started marching and we were as one, like a big group, I was like, what do we need to fear about? Like, I feel empowered.
Right.
Like I don't have to worry about anything because I'm with a whole group of friends. I feel like I know everybody because they're marching for one purpose. So I wasn't really worried about that.
Right.
I think like, my bad.
No.
But I think like the fact that like how quickly we've gotten at responding to situations like that and knowing how to handle them just makes it so much easier. Because when you have people like set up to like, okay, if something goes down, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, I can just relax.
Right.
I feel so calm every single day, and I feel no fear because I know that if something does happen, I know that people have my back and I have theirs. So I mean, I'm never worried, ever, even when it gets hectic, because you have to be calm in pressure situations, or else you could, when you're a leader of any kind, if you're not calm in the pressure situations, it can mess up the people that are looking at you for answers. So. What did you gonna say?
Well, I know I've been staying quiet this whole video, but it's because I've been thinking about how I want to say this. As a black man, I realize now, and I hope others realize, we can't hold hate nor hurt at this time.
Exactly.
To the kids that can relate, I don't know if y'all ever had this talk with your father or your mother. When I first got my license, they told me if you get pulled over,
Yeah, the talk.
you do everything that you can to make sure you come home. When I first saw about George Floyd and him calling for his mom, I thought about it and I thought I'd do the same thing. And I'm scared as all I can be for the next generation if this doesn't subside or we actually get to the point where everything's equal, because that could be my son or daughter on there, that could be your son or daughter, you know what I mean? It's scary to think that someone's child, not just George Floyd, all the ones that have been taken from their mothers and their fathers, can be brushed off by people who are saying like all lives matter. I'm not saying all lives matter is negative. We can turn it into something positive.
Exactly.
All of us can together. Every race, West, you see people of different color every day at your protests. That's your all lives matter. Not you saying it against Black Lives Matter. It's people who are there protesting with Black Lives Matter, not just saying they're doing it for us. We do the same for them. Seeing people hate. We went to a school where, can I talk about this?
Right. It just wasn't uncommon. Right.
Our freshman year, you remember what happened?
Yeah.
With the baseball team? What, our sophomore year at Champions Week? Every day when we walk through the halls, that haunts. It takes a lot not to be a stereotype to them. It takes a lot for us to pull ourselves up at the end of the day and tell everyone that we matter. Do you realize how much bravery it takes to go to a protest? You are a hero in my mind. You went out to a protest, you're doing everything you can for it. Not just you, others, the next generation, the generation after that. You want to make a statement. I can't understand why people could hate us just because we look different. If you're watching this and you don't like what I'm saying, I'm sorry. If you're watching this and you want to go to a protest and say all lives matter, please don't. There are women and children there. Women and children who are getting hit with rubber bullets, pepper sprayed, all of that. Can we all just come together and do something, not just for us, but for our kids in the future? I'm actually begging and asking you. I'm done.
I got something about the end. So, I know I was talking about like,
Where'd you yell at me, guy?
yeah.
Right.
So it's like, the fact that he wasn't wearing a suit or some extra looking thing to make him stand out,
Right.
but everybody else that's there knew who he was. But the fact that he got pepper sprayed, I'm sitting here like, I would literally have to dress up just to fit in to the, like, not the community, but like the society of like looking like a normal black man. Because if I'm dressed in anything regular, I feel like anything can happen to me.
Right. If it can
At
happen
that
to him,
point-
it can happen to anyone at that
So
point.
it's like, literally, do I have to feel like I have to look all proper and like, and I've had this before where like, yeah, standards. So it's like, who was it? Like at school, you remember Kobe?
Mm-hmm.
Kobe's redneck, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm friends with him. I'm cool with him. He has a Confederate flag. I don't care. Like I don't really see that. Like I just see a friendship. Like I'm past all that. So it's not like he's done anything to me, said anything, like nothing like that. So the fact that people might see that and be like, oh, why are you friends with him? Like you're like a proper blah blah blah. Like yeah, I might not speak like a bunch of lingo and all that extra stuff, but like that's how I was raised. That's how I was brought up. I wasn't brought up to like not be ghetto, but like speak out of tone
Right.
to where people are gonna be like, oh, he's not from here, like type stuff.
Right. Look at you
So
different.
yeah, look at me different because of the way I talk. And at that point, I was just like, yeah, I know. I speak English, like straight
Right.
English. It's not that hard. We learn this all together as a group. Like as they say, all lives matter. Yeah, we know, but we still had to fit in too.
Right. And
So-
sometimes it was harder for us.
Yeah,
You know, we had to work harder just to be looked at as someone who may be 3 shades lighter than us. You know, like.
yeah.
So I think that was good. I mean, like we said, if you don't agree with what we said, at the end of the day, that's cool, because this is how we feel. And you know, things like this, you may lose some people that that may have rocked with you for a while, but that's how you feel. And like we said, we tried to stay as positive as possible with this, but there is an ugly truth behind this.
It's hard to stay positive. in this
Exactly.
time.
But that's what our channel's for. That's what channels like Wesley's for. Is to promote Black positivity. And we're going to continue to do this. You know, not every video is going to be this serious.
We like to keep it upbeat.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that this brought down the mood, but it had to be said. And we may have not said it when everyone was hyping it up, but at the end of the day, this is not a trend. There's a difference. This is something that needs to be changed. And we're not gonna have it trend on Twitter for 2 weeks and then it goes away because Kylie Jenner or something. Like, no, we're not gonna do that. So with that said, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Spread love.
Subscribe to Wesley. Link is in the description.
Yes, sir.
Think about the next generation.
I mean, we had a great recording day.
We're not done yet.
Yeah, we're not done. We still got a couple more to shoot. But with that, we will see y'all.
Boom.